I'm here in Niagara Falls at Project Shares with the lady that works for Project Shares, Diane. Dan, first question I have to ask you is, can you explain the history of Project Share program a little bit, please?
Sure. In the 80s, we experienced a recession in this area, and Project Share started out as a food bank with one employee, and the employee would give out food to people in need, and then they thought it was going to be a temporary solution to just a short-term problem. And then when we kept experiencing, job loss in this area and recessions and different types of thing, I know that the SARS outbreak affected our tourism. Well, Project Share became kind of a permanent fixture. I started working here in 1989 myself, and I was going to work here for a year and or two until people got back on their feet, and I'm still here. And the number of people that we have helped has increased by 100%, every few years. So it's quite, eye-opening anyway to be here.
We're sitting in the warehouse right now. What kind of food goes through this warehouse a month? Can you give us an idea?
Sure. We receive a lot of different types of donations. We receive donations from people who are just cleaning out their cupboards. We receive donations from local groceries, day-old bread, things like that. They're still really good. We're trying to promote healthy eating. We feel that not only do people deserve to eat in Canada, they deserve to have a healthy diet. And so we're trying to get local gardeners to grow a row for Project Share, perhaps planting an extra row of tomatoes and bringing them in. The groceries have been great too. Any produce that is just starting to get wilty, they will give it to us, we'll pick it up, and we put it in our food room.
And you guys also have programs through Project Share. I think one of them's a garden itself, and then there's also the food bank here right now, and there's also the one that subsidizes helps subsidize the utilities. With the provincial government now cutting, I think $4.2 million they're going to cut programs that help people that are the working poor and live below the poverty line. How does that affect Project Share? And at the same time, could you also talk about your public gardens programs that you're working?
Yeah. We've had a garden for almost 10 years, a beautiful garden on Thorold Stone Road, and we get donated plants, donated seeds. Volunteers help the gardeners learn how to grow produce for their own families. Everything is free. People living on a low income can access a plot, and as long as they take care of it, they can grow produce for their own families. We also have an employee through the Niagara Prosperity Initiative that has gone around to different families and taught them how to do backyard gardening. It's called square foot gardening, and they grow a certain type of plant, perhaps Swiss chard in a square foot box, and then carrots, and then lettuce, and that's been great. We've had people change their entire way of eating with the backyard gardens, and now the same employee has a cooking program where she's teaching people what to do with the produce that they've grown in the gardens, and the first session is taking place at Lundy's Lane United Church next Monday, and we also have a person on staff through a Green Shields insurance grant. She's our health promotion worker. Sarah's job is to teach people how to eat healthy produce as well. So we get donations of things that people don't know what they are. We had a receiver once write down green leafy something, and so we feel if our staff doesn't know what it is, the clientele aren't going to know what to do with it. So Sarah looks up recipes, she prepares the dish. In our waiting room today, she's prepared apple bran muffins for people to sample, and we're giving out the recipe with apples because we do have a lot of apples that were donated recently to Project Share. The government cutbacks, it's another story. We are a little concerned because our utility programs, we feel we're a homelessness prevention agency. So if you provide basic needs to families who are spending more than 50% of their income on housing, you're preventing homelessness, because they're classified through the region as being at imminent risk of homelessness. That means they may be homeless at any moment. And 95% of the 90 families that we see per day on average are spending more than 50% of their income, so are in imminent risk of being homeless. So by providing help with basic needs, we're preventing homelessness, because people don't have to say, should I pay the rent, or should I pay the hydro, or should I feed the kids or pay the rent? So we're helping in that instance. But we go through over $150,000 worth of utility assistance annually, and we only help once per year. And we still have to send many families away. The Niagara Emergency Energy Fund is part of this provincial initiative, and that's probably around $65,000 a year, $70,000 that we've been able to help with, and that's being withdrawn, I believe. We're not sure about the figures, but we believe it's being withdrawn altogether. So also the first and last month's rent that they're able to access through their region is being withdrawn, and so we feel that people living on $599 a month, which is the basic rate for Ontario Works, it will be impossible, absolutely impossible to save for last month's rent. So we don't know how people are going to establish a household, much less keep it. So we're a little concerned about what's going on.
And also, you're mentioning right before the interview that there actually is some individuals that used to donate to Project Share that have now become, clients and in need of your services. How has the economics of this area right now affected individuals in your opinion? And, what do you feel, witnessing firsthand the individual coming in, what do you feel has to be done, let's say by the government or provincially, municipally, regional, or other programs that you might want to suggest seeing, done to help improve the lives of people?
There have been studies done, I believe it was in Saskatchewan in the 70s, where people were provided with a basic income, and not only did the people that received the income benefit, the whole community benefited. There were fewer dropouts in high school, not only with low-income families, but with people of all incomes. There were fewer doctor visits, fewer hospital visits. So they have the data. I just would like them to act on it, and I think that certainly there is a shortage of money in Canada right now, as they do have throughout the world, but I just think it's a matter of priorities. And I think prevention is the way to go, and not these stopgap measures that Project Share is right now. We're just alleviating a problem temporarily. So I'd like to see a solution.
And what kind of inspirational message would you like to leave with individuals? Someone's left with you, like a hero left with you in your lifetime that you want to pass on to other people.
Well, I know that our entire staff goes by the motto, always choose kindness. So I think we do see a lot of kindness in Niagara. We see children who, instead of accepting presents for themselves at a birthday party, they will ask people to bring in food or toys for Project Share. We see people who give people rides to Project Share. They see them on the street and struggling with their bags, and they'll bring them in and wait. And I just think we are a kind and caring community. If people recognize that the situation is as dire as it is, that they will help. So.
And most importantly, what kind of success stories do you want to share with people that have gone through Project Share and now have gone on either back to school, they own their own house, they own their own vehicle, and they become important parts of society itself?
People who come in and talk to us are missing a sense of community. Poverty is isolating, and they're looking for connection with others, which we all are. So I think when we encourage them to join groups, to garden, to come to, we had an art class through Trillium Grant in the winter. If we can encourage people to come out and participate, they form networks, kind people help them, and we have had innumerable success stories where people are able to, who have lost their children, are able to get their children back from Family and Children's Services. They've established a good home. They've purchased homes. They've been able to teach their neighbors how to garden, and you know, they have potlucks where everybody gets together once a month and shares the produce. So we've also seen people go on to jobs, and right now it's not a very good situation in our area for employment, but you know, there are jobs and we see people getting them, so there are some bright spots in our day.
And finally, would you like to leave your website so people can check it out?
Sure. Our website is www.projectshare.ca.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.